Hi there. Thank you for joining me for the Sweet of the Month. Thank you, Shirley Merker, Super Awesome Stamper, for inviting me to join the group creating the Sweet of the Month videos. This month, we're featuring the Simply Elegant Sweet. It's in the annual catalog, page 68, for 2021 through May 2022. So let's get started. I thought we'd do a 3D project because I don't do a lot of 3D projects. And you'll notice chocolate. Chocolate is a good thing in a project. This is what we're going to wind up with. It's a matchstick candy holder with 3 chocolate nuggets. I think this is kind of a fun thing just to have one in your purse, and when you're at the bank, you can give it as a thank you gift for a teller. You can thank a friend for doing something nice for you. They're just great little gifts. So let's get started. One of the things that I do when I create a 3D project, and this one is inspired by Sharon Armstrong, is that I create a template. I get out some basic white cardstock. I cut it and score it and mark it all up so that when I want to make it again, I will have it. So this is 3.5 by 5. It's scored at 1/2 inch and 1 inch on all 4 sides. The X's are the sections that are going to be removed, and then you're going to need 4 tabs to fold in. So it's cut on 3 sides, folded on the 4th side. And I'll show you how that's done. I've got a piece of cardstock to work on. Again, matchstick treat box. Then there's a cover that goes over it. This is 3 inches by 4 3/4 inches, scored at 1 5/8 inches, 2 1/8 inch, 3 3/4 inches, and 4 1/4 inches. So we're going to set these aside, and I'm going to bring in the cardstock that I'm going to use. I'm going to use Basic Gray. When I looked at the cardstock, the Designer Series paper for the Simply Elegant Specialty Designer Series paper, it is gorgeous. It's got copper, it's got gold, it's got silver. And Basic Gray is one of the colors. So I decided to go with Basic Gray for my base, for my cardstock. And this one I used this Designer Series paper. I'm now going to use this one. Let's see, can you see that? It's got copper, gold, and silver. I just love this paper. So here is my card base, for the base for the box. I've cut it out of Basic Gray. I've scored it at 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch and 1 inch on all 4 sides. And then I started cutting away these pieces that we're going to remove. So I cut 3 pieces away on the corner, and then I mitered just a little bit these flaps for folding them in. So let's do this one together. So we're going to take off, I've got my little snips. They're very sharp, and it helps to have sharp snips. I know it's probably kind of hard for you to see the score lines on this paper. It's hard for me to see the score lines on this paper. Let's see, let's snip this one off. This one is going to be my flap, so I'm going to snip it in, and then I am just going to do a little miter on the edge. Nothing like having these little slivers of paper all over your room. There we are, one little miter. On the other side, we're going to do the same. Cut off the 2 on that first layer. Take off another little square on the side. Put a little snip in, and I'm just snipping up to the next score line. And then I'm going to do just a little miter on each side. Well, I cut that one wrong, didn't I? Whoops. Well, let's see how that folds up. Guess it'll go this way. Oh, it'll fold up fine. Okay, let's make all our fold lines. Let's see. Use your bone folder, reinforce your score lines because you are going to need those. If you've got a little sliver of one of your miters, go ahead and take that off. Reinforce that fold line. Even though I did it on the wrong side, I think it's still going to work out okay. It'll just glue differently. On this side, we'll do these fold lines and burnish these four lines just to make sure you've got it. What I did was I just took a drop of glue and I used my Tombow multi-purpose glue and I put a drop on this side and I'll put a drop on that side. Fold these up and in and hold them because this is holding your box together. There we are. Just going to need to hold them for just a moment for that glue to dry. You could also use, I don't think I'd use glue dots because glue dots may not hold quite as well, but you could use a little piece of tear and tape. I like Tombow because it gives you just a little bit of wiggle room if you need it. And then on this side, I might have been a little generous with the glue there. I found with Tombow that when I'm using it, it's really easy to put it in a holder that holds it upside down. Mine doesn't seem to leak at all, and then it's ready to go. So, yep, there was a little too much glue on that one. Which is not that bad. I mean, you can just get it off. And this one folds in. And I'll hold them both for just a moment, get a little bit of pressure on it. The Matchbox is so easy to make. A little less messy if you're not using Tombow. I think perhaps tear and tape would have been nice. All right, there we are. I'm going to take my mess and get it in the garbage. And while this is just sitting for a moment, because I want that glue to dry, here is my sleeve. I guess that's what we'd call it, is a sleeve. It has, oh, this is not the sleeve. That is my scrap paper that I'm going to use for stamping. Here is my sleeve. And again, this piece is 3 by 4 3/4, scored at 1 5/8, 2 1/8, 3 3/4, and 4 1/4. And I am just going to burnish those score lines. And these two, I think you'll notice how this just kind of folds in the middle. This is where I'm going to put my tear and tape, is right here. I like to use tear and tape. It's a very strong adhesive. Let's see, we'll put it down right like this, fairly close to the edge on both sides there. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. That was not what I planned on doing. I just wanted to pull the end off. I've got my little pointy end, and I can take the tape off. Be sure you rub. I have a little something stuck to the end there. You take your tape off, and then you fold it this down, and this will just fold up, making sure your edges are even. Give it a good burnish. You can even use your bone folder for that. And look, you've got a sleeve. Okay, there's our little cover. The actual Matchbox itself, you're going to fold in the sides. You've got that one extra score line, and this helps hold it all together. Just get it pushed right in the corners. And there you have a box. And if your box is getting stubborn and doesn't want to stay, you can always pull it up and give it just a touch of glue where it's being stubborn. Push it in and hold it, and there you are. Now, one of the things that will make it easier to put on, if we take and we decorate our cute little Hershey Nuggets. These happen to be milk chocolate with almonds. And I have 3 strips of paper, the Designer Series specialty paper, cut 3 inches by 1 inch. And to attach them, I am going to use glue dots because it is so easy. A glue dot on one end, a glue dot on the other end, making sure they stick. Then I'm just going to put this on, press one end down and under, and bring the other end. It's going to overlap just a tiny bit. And there we have a decorated candy. Isn't that pretty? There's one. Let's see, here's glue dot, glue dot. And the glue dots are easy to pull off so that when you give this as a gift, the receiver can get to their candy quickly, which can be very important. Okay, there's number 2. We'll get number 3. Put our glue dots on. It's just a fun little relaxing pastime to do this. You could make a few of them up, take them with you when you go shopping. There we are. Give them to your whoever's waited on you. Now this is a very tight fit. I will have to admit that. There we are. Now this, while cute, is very plain, and we really don't like plain. So I have a piece of Designer Series paper that we're not going to score. It is, let me measure it again, 2 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And I am using tear and tape on this. I want this to be permanently attached. I'm having a terrible time with that little tiny piece of paper. There, now it's gone. When you're using tear and tape, it's called tear and tape because it tears so well. You can use your fingernail and tear against it, or you can use a block. I'm gonna use this one here and tear. Or you can use scissors and cut it and get a straight edge. That is one of those things that whatever works for you will be perfect. I'm just going to make sure I've got this right side up. I do. It's a good thing. I'm going to take off the tape And if it doesn't come off smoothly and it wants to pull the actual tape up, it just means you need to burnish it a little. Here we are. I'm just going to fold it. See, try to line it up on each side. I'm not going for perfection, although it looks pretty good. Fold it, the tear and tape will hold it down. Fold the other side in. Having the candy in the box makes it a lot easier to do this step. When I was making this one, I hadn't bought the candy yet, so it was a little harder to get this around and nice and tight. I'm going to leave these right here, so hopefully you can see the dimensions. Now it still needs a little decoration. So I decided to use the stamps in the set, Memento Tuxedo Black ink. This one says For You, and I'm going to, this is a linen-y type pad, so you really do need to work a little harder on it. I'm going to, I think I'm going to cut it out first. I didn't earlier. But let's see how this works. It's not photopolymer, so it's got the foam cushion, the stamp, so you don't need it on anything else. I'm going to try the For You right about in the middle. And then it's got this cute little decorative swirl. Maybe it's a doodle, but it is, I think it's cute. So I did one going one way, and I turned it and did another one so that my For You is framed. And I didn't do that very well. So this is where we go, because, turn it over, because we all know that paper is magic. It has two sides. So if one side doesn't turn out exactly like you want it to, you can try the other side. And I also realized that I needed this to be down a little bit lower. Although, being a tag, maybe it shouldn't be two-sided. Well, we're going to do it anyway. If somebody turns it over who gets the gift, then they'll just think that I wanted to make sure they knew it was for them. How's that? That's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. Here we are. The one thing about this everyday label tag, no, Label Me Fancy tag punch, is that there is a slot on one side. So if you wanted to weave ribbon through it, you could. Or you could just punch a hole in it. And so I punched a little hole in the wrong side. No, I'm going to put it on like this. Okay, here's the secret. None of us are perfect, and you don't have to be perfect when you're doing paper crafts, because it's just an opportunity to make little changes and to be flexible. I am going to take my string, and I cut this trim. It's the Simply Elegant trim. You get one gold and one silver. I am going to pull one of my tails under the whole thing so that I can tie a bow, or not a bow, but a knot, to give myself a good anchor. And because I put the hole in the wrong end, in the other end of my tag. Oh, no, I didn't. I did. There it is. We're going to take it like this and have the bow at the bottom, whereas this one has the bow at the top. Then I tied a little knot just to hold it in place. And because my hands don't always do a good job of knotting, I am going to just tie that and make a little bow, and I always allow myself some extra length. I can always cut it off if I want to. The one thing I have found about this trim is you have to really pull it tight for it to stay. So give it a good hard pull, and there you go. We now have 2 boxes, treat boxes to give away as gifts. I hope you give it a try and know that even when things don't go exactly as you had planned in your head, that there's always a workaround, because it's crafting and it's fun. So enjoy your crafting, enjoy your candy. I might have a piece of chocolate after this. And I will see you again in the second video.